And here we are. We're live again.
And a different setting.
Yeah, it's too sunny out there. So it's just, we thought we'd come in here, different set for you today. So we're going to talk today about the world population, where we think it's going. You know, I'd like to get your ideas later on. I'll tell you a few facts about the world population at the beginning, and then perhaps have a few insights, and you've got a few thoughts about what's going to happen to the world, I think, Jane, you said.
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
So, and we'll, yeah, so we'll be taking your questions. Well, first of all, say hello to everybody, first of all, as you come online. We got our little screen down here today. So Monica's saying, hello, Craig and Jane, second time on live chat. Monica from India.
Oh, welcome, Monica.
Yeah. Also, hello from Dominic. We like to see you with Jane and Craig, Monica.
Yes, show yourself. Where are you?
Beatrice, good afternoon to you, Lady Jane.
Oh.
And you too, sir, from Nice. Now, is it Nice or is it nice?
It's Nice.
No, it could be Nice, it could be nice. It's like the biscuits, very confusing. Hi, Craig and Jane from Liverpool.
Oh,
from Diane, that's good to see you from Liverpool. Nice and hot up there, I hope too. It's baking down here in the south. Michelle saying good evening from sunny Sheffield. Looking forward to watching this hour with you both, Michelle. Yeah, that'll be nice, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. If you're just coming online, we'll be like to take some of your views later on about the environment, about the population, about where the world's going. Hello, one and all, says Haley House 13. Agility bits, Pat. Pat, who I was gone.
Oh, am I allowed to?
I don't know whether you can read them or
not. Hello from hot and sticky Cornwall. Hi.
That's Pat. Pat was on Zoom with us the other day again because the patrons, we had a Zoom
Lorraine
meeting.
says hi from Wareham, Dorset. Kit, hello from Chicago.
Hi.
Oh,
I wonder if our friends from Germany have come on because we get a few people from Germany sometimes, don't you? They got all the problems there.
Hello.
Hello, John.
Craig and Jane and Boo. Boo's just gone.
Yeah, he's around. I'm worried that
hot.
all this lot we got set up here could fall down if Boo comes through this lot of wires that's on the floor. You know?
Oh, that's nice. Bridget, sending my love to you, Craig and Jane. Ditto, Bridget. Ditto.
Nicolo Avocado, best part of my day. Well, that's very kind of you, Nick. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's always nice to see you. And I saw you, of course, you've been on the patrons with us. We'll give you a mention at the end, actually. Ireland, hello from Ireland.
Hello,
so
Ireland.
There must be the country of Ireland saying hello to us there.
You can use it as a girl's name.
B88. Hi, Craig and Jane from UK, from Birmingham.
Oh. Hello from Orlando, Florida, Anna.
And the topic today is going to be about the world population explosion. What's going to happen? What will the world look like as we look into the future? Hello from Puerto Rico, says Janet.
Gosh, that's nice, isn't it?
That's nice, but I've never been to Puerto Rico. You went to Puerto Rico?
Yes, I have. And I've been to Brazil.
Beatrice says, oh, my, this colour is outstanding. Lost it.
Wasn't that outstanding?
It must be my colour. Must be my colour. Beatrice has said, oh, my, this colour is outstanding on you, from Nice in France.
Nice,
Nice in France. So if it's a lowercase, then it must be Nice. Nice. And if it's a capital. Del Cos, that man, hello from Finland. In fact, they've even got a heat wave right up there, apparently. I was reading.
Yes.
It's terrible, this heat wave's getting. Fleming saying, hello, Craig and Jane from Denmark.
Hello, Fleming. Karina, good evening from a hot and sunny Finland.
Yeah, you see, Finland is hot. I've read that. What's going to happen to all that tundra and all the rest of it? It's all going to start giving out carbon dioxide. Pat, Agility Bits, hope our friends from Germany are safe. Yeah, because I was wondering, because we always get a few from Germany say hello.
Yes.
And makes you wonder, doesn't it? Oh, terrible, terrible situation over there. You see it on the news. Sheila saying good evening and namaste to Jane and Craig and
namaste.
Boo. I don't know what's happened to him. He was wandering around.
He's so hot. He doesn't know what to do with himself. We've got a fan on him.
Isabel, hello from the Highlands of Scotland.
Oh,
now, that's one place you can guarantee you're not going to get very good weather.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
Hopefully they got nice weather up there. I think they have actually at the moment. Franco saying, you're not on YouTube. You are not on YouTube. I have to get this through Patreon.
Oh.
we are on YouTube. Yeah, it's probably you got your message through Patreon. Because if you can see it on Patreon, Franco, it's definitely on YouTube because it's broadcasting through YouTube. Well, hopefully.
Angela, hi from the United States. Hi, Angela.
Yeah, these are YouTube ones because you've got the little YouTube thing
Yeah.
on the bottom. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Aries Rainbow Child. I watched your video earlier. Hi from Taiwan. Oh, well, I did one on Taiwan, didn't I, as well? And there's also a new one out there at the moment. I did on the some more predictions. Geraldine saying, hello from Boston, Massachusetts. Reminds me, we should have a cup of tea.
What's that got to do with Massachusetts?
Boston have tea parties there.
Oh,
they have.
you mad atter, you.
But we're most
Mad
well-known tea
atter.
parties in the
Mad
world
atter.
there. Where's your orange shirt, Craig? Yeah, I should have perhaps put my orange shirt on, shouldn't I?
You've got nothing orange on you.
No, I'm with a little bit of orange, a bit of yellowy colour. Brenda Hall, hi from Spain. It's hot here. I think we're hotter than Spain at the moment, I get a feeling. I believe that coronavirus is a weapon from the highest energy on Earth. Love your orange top, Jane.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you. Do you love my orange top, Craig?
I think it's good. Yeah, nice
Yeah,
colour.
like
Always looks bright colours look good on camera. I always think.
Well,
Hello,
I like bright colours.
Hello from Vancouver. Says HP.
Is Patrice?
Patricia Schultz. Good. You're from Germany. Okay, not flooded here in this part of Germany.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's
Thank
nice.
goodness.
I was thinking about you, Patricia. Actually, wondering whether your name would have come up
Apple?
tonight. Apple. Summersby. Hello, Craig and Jane. Hello from Switzerland. They've had it there too.
Yeah.
All the rain.
Sun in between very heavy rain. Well, we had heavy rain.
We had it
last
here
week.
actually. We were flooded out down the road a couple of days ago. I mean, not like they got in Germany. Keep calm and drink tea, says Nana. Good idea. Definitely a good idea. Although I've got squashed today. Well, so welcome everybody. Hi again. And if you're new, don't forget. If you just joined us, perhaps you're watching it after we've been live or something. Don't forget to subscribe, and then you'll get updates every time we go live, because we're on every night on Fridays at 7 o'clock, and lots more coming up soon on the channel as well. Listen to those birds again, loads of them. But we moved away from the conservatory tonight because of the birds.
They're not. They sound as if they're in there.
Like they come indoors.
Hitchcock.
Okay.
Oh,
We must not get distracted.
One has just flown in.
It has it. Oh God,
Hitchcock.
it'll be all right. It'll be all right. So that's a bad premonition. World population. Right, we're going to talk about the world. I've got to have a look. That's those ones on these trios. We've had a whole flock of birds with blue tails, haven't we? I don't know what earth they are. So the world population at the moment stands. I didn't know this beforehand.
Billions.
7.8 billion
I knew it
people
was billions.
is in the world at the moment. 7.8 billion people. So I looked a few facts up on the web, and they reckon that by 2100. That's going to go up to 10.9 billion, nearly 11 billion people. That's one hell of a lot of people on the planet Earth. And it's going to be, and by about 2200, they reckon it'll be up to at least up to 11 billion, if not more. So that's a hell of a lot of people. Already here in the UK, we kind of feel swamped, don't we? Because there's just building going on everywhere, and it's just manic. So this population has only been happening really in the world since the Industrial Revolution, really, when population sort of burst forth in the UK. Then the Industrial Revolution spread, and population seemed to boom as we got the Industrial Revolution and the world industrialized. Because not so much because more people were being born, but really because more people were dying. Remember you did O-level history at school, Jane? Because I remember that was one of the questions they used to ask you, what was the cause of the population explosion during the Victorian times? And it was because, they'd have about 6 babies, people would have, to make sure that they had people to look after them when they got older, and 4 would normally die. But this now, 4 would live, 2 wouldn't. So it reversed, and basically the population started to double, and that is what's caused this huge population explosion in the world. So for 200,000 years or more, the population of the world never reached more than 1 billion people. I mean, going further back, it was less than that, obviously, but it was only in recent years that this huge exponential graph of population explosion has been happening, and particularly since less people have been dying when they're babies. And can we sustain it? Can we change things? Or will it go on and on forever like that? Or will the world stabilize?
Well, the future can change, as you know, but I was told by a spirit guide that we will go back to the Ice Age in the future. But the future that I saw in the year going to 3,000 years is that it'll be robots and half humans.
So cyber people in an ice
No,
age.
no, not like that. Because all these things happening, like smart meters, smart road things, Alexa, we're all giving information. They're all taking our information.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
But what about the world's population? Because one of the things the scientists have been saying, and I think they've got a point with this actually, is there's a lot of misconceptions about the idea that population is going to carry on like this.
I think it
Because
will.
once we got affluent in the UK, the population stabilized. It basically kind of didn't go shooting up anymore, because once people felt secure in themselves and knew you didn't need to have 6 kids to run the farm, that you could basically be all right on 1 or 2 children, that the population became stable. Now it's going up.
Do you
now.
think men have the energy to make 6 children?
Yeah, well,
Not
they
in
used
this day
to.
and
My
age.
granddad came from a family of 16.
Yes, but then they didn't have the birth pill and things,
Yeah.
did they?
So it's quite likely that the population could, once people get affluent, it stops. Like China, they've said in China that, oh, we're going to let everybody have more than 1 kid, you know, but actually they got so used to the idea that we only need to have 1 child, that Chinese are not all scrambling to have more children. In fact, a lot of places in the world have the opposite problem, that population could be dropping because we've got such a large aging population. You know, there's places like Japan where the population is actually I think the population there's dropping because they reckon they got more. Elton Musk, I think I had said
Right,
it.
there's a question that's
Yeah.
correct.
Do you think population will survive until 2200?
Do you?
Yeah, I think I'm actually very optimistic about it. I think that around about 2200, and that's kind of the sort of time the scientists say, that the population, like I was talking about there, will stabilize by that time. You know, I think it will stabilize.
The world is changing, isn't it? At the moment, in the 21st century, it's got very materialistic, hasn't it? And perhaps like with this virus, what's happening, perhaps all these causes that happen are meant to be to wipe some of the population out. Have you thought about that?
Well, that's a possibility, because, I mean, I think, you know, do we think the population will survive until then? We won't survive if we don't pay attention to the basic things that we're going to need to do to make sure that the planet can sustain that number of people. That means reducing consumption, particularly. I mean, and perhaps bringing family planning in for areas like Africa, who want to take on family planning because they know it's safer, you know, and that they know they don't have to have loads of kids to support them in their old age. And we've got to put in pollution controls, otherwise we won't survive, will we? And we've got to protect the habitat of the world, and we've got to protect
chopping trees down,
all that lot, you know. I mean, and particularly on your own doorstep, you know, we all moan about, you know, that the Amazon rainforest is now pumping out, it's creating more of a global effect rather than solving it, because we've chopped so much of it down. But just down the road from us, they're chopping trees down, ancient trees.
We need trees for oxygen.
Yeah, and the whole thing is,
that's why we get these floods.
People just don't give a damn.
They don't. It's
about
all money.
The environment. It's all cash. And I think the problem lies with the rich, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. What does Nana say?
Nostradamus predict that we will colonize other planets in the future. Is our DNA really changing now to accommodate changes in our world so that humanity can live on through these changes? I believe it is.
I think that's a very interesting point that Nana's got there, you know, because, I mean, our DNA is definitely changing. I mean, the kids now are wired very differently to we would have been with their minds. Their minds are used
forward.
They're thinking differently for good or bad, aren't they? With video games and computers and the rest of it, learning to program at school and things. I mean, it takes a different mindset to deal with things like that.
This is all the future happening, isn't it?
So I think ultimately we will colonize the planets. I mean, when Europe got filled up, we started expanding and going to Australia and going to Americas, and then, you know, and we grew and grew and grew. And it seems to be the nature of mankind to want to expand. But I don't think we'll choke ourselves to death on this planet by just too many people. Ultimately, I think we will get round it. So Nicola Avocado saying,
go on then, Craig.
Sometimes countries who've had the fewest resources and dollars to sustain children end up making the biggest families. That's very true, because the highest growth rate in the population is in both Africa and Asia at the moment. I mean, the population growth in Europe and America is slowing. Like I said, in some places like South Korea, the population's going down quite radically. And maybe China is not burst into a huge population growth as that we were kind of expecting when they said about the having more children. So China is actually stabilizing a bit. But places like Africa having loads of kids, and the reason they're having loads of kids is because they haven't got the affluence. You know, and it's because us greedy buggers don't share. You know, people in the world could still starve, and a small group of people in the world own the vast amount of the wealth of the world. Those are the people to blame. We should be putting our money and much more of our resources into places like Africa, because that's the only way they're gonna feel secure enough to only need a certain number of children.
No child on God's earth should starve. No child, they all should be fed.
Absolutely.
So shame on man.
And the problem is we're going to get more and more and more division between the rich and the poor all the time. This is a terrible thing.
Yes.
You know, you need a middle class. Vikas is saying, what are the chances of human species becoming interplanetary? If so, how soon can you see this question? Can you ask your spirit guides?
Oh, we can't just click into spirit guide like that.
I've always felt that we will become interplanetary beings, definitely. I think we'll expand to Mars, first of all, is the obvious choice.
Well, most gurus say we come from Mars, don't they?
Well, some say, and the Nadis said, that we're seeded from Mars, that life started on Mars and then was seeded on Earth after it had already grown in Mars, but got wiped out again.
I think what the world's got to be cautious of is what they call the yellow pearl, which is China. That's what my spirit guide said.
Yeah, I think China's the danger to the world, and I don't think in terms of population though, but I think we will populate Mars. I don't think that would be impossible to do. Well, and certainly some of the Europa and some of the other planets are certainly moons.
Richard Branson's trying to get to Mars, isn't he?
Yeah,
space.
Well, so I think Mars is going to be, and the moon as well.
I think it would be exciting times.
Yeah, I don't know what life would be like living without nature around you all the time, because it would be pretty hard to build a natural environment. I don't think we could. You know, they talk about terra. What do they call it? Terra something when they manipulate to make it like Earth, make it Earth-like. Terra something, terraforming, I think it's called. I don't think it would be easy to do that, but I think we will start off by making the deserts bloom, because there's vast amounts of water under the Sahara.
Everything's possible. We haven't touched things yet in this lifetime. Everything's possible.
Well, under the Sahara, there's vast amounts of water. We only need to pump that up. There's enormous supplies of water. But also, I've always been this idea that that we can find some form of energy that will help us to turn salt water into ordinary water. And that will help us at least make the Earth sustain us and a huge population for a long period of time.
Well, the Earth survives on water, doesn't it? Need water.
I suppose one of the other things is how long will people live?
Or they'll live a great age.
Because in the idea in India, it says about the yugas, and in the Satya Yuga, people live something like 250, 400 years. They talk about.
God, won't they be wrinkled?
Yeah. Well, I don't mind living 200 or 400 years as long as I'm healthy. I wouldn't like 300 odd years of suffering.
No.
But I think we will change. I think our lifespan will
Well,
extend.
people live longer. Years ago, you considered really old at 40, weren't you? In our grandparents' time.
Scientists reckon that because the cells divide, our life,
Oh, that's a
the
nice one.
total length of a human life maximum would be 150 years.
Yeah.
But I think they'll find a way around that.
Ireland, do you think the human race is becoming more in touch with the spiritual and psychic side? Will the human race explore space and live on other planets? I'm absolutely sure they are. I'm sure we're all getting ready for it.
Yeah,
And people
I
being
think it's
spiritual is nothing to do with organized religions. It's being on a high vibration with nature and love, compassion, and even the way we breathe is important, isn't it?
I think the psychic side of ourselves is it's a bit like
your own intuition.
Yeah, I think it's an evolutionary thing.
Yeah.
Something that perhaps we've had in the past, pre-language, we had it. It's kind of gone dormant, and we've had to use our rational minds to create the technological age. But maybe once we've sorted the technological age out, and all the robots can do everything for us and everything like that. But then the next step could be go back and start the evolution of our telepathic skills, of our clairvoyance.
Well, you'll find in the future your dreams will reflect on the wall, and it's like the power of thought.
They've already this week wired into people to get someone to be able to speak.
Yeah, it will
using
happen.
Just brain patterns.
So,
put simple phrases up. So it's going to go a long way. That.
Yeah, Craig.
Am I going?
Yes,
should I wait silently?
Here's your friend.
Okay, Niccolo Avocado said also. Politicians sometimes end up taking all the money. Absolutely. Look what happened to Haiti, for example. People might give and donate all they want, but that's trusting politicians to do good with it. Yeah, and Africa's had exactly the same problems. Haiti was a terrible mess, and even Oxfam in Haiti were corrupt there. I mean, if we don't share it out a bit, we're all going to pay the price. We're all going to get. Because David Attenborough, who I think is one of the best spokesmen on population, he said the world's environmental problems is basically down to the fact that there's just basically too many of us.
Yes.
We're all chasing the same resources. We're all using air conditioning units in the hot places. We're using heating systems in the cold places.
Be gone.
Yeah. So the best thing we can do is all clear off.
Yeah, be gone, Craig.
But the problem is people like you and me are not going to die quick enough.
And thanks for that.
Yeah. And it's the same with the babies. There's too many babies surviving, If there was a higher death rate, that's the cruelest way to sort population out, is more of us to die. But I think that if we get it right, and if we take the right political actions and we put the money in the right places and it's not pocketed by everybody, and we help the poor in other countries, that is the way that people in those countries become much more secure about the fact you don't have to have 6 kids to look after the farm. You can get by.
Yeah. Now, Apple, it's very important, Craig. Listen, seeing the results of the floods today in Germany, an affluent country, showing how quickly natural disasters can strike and take people out, whether rich or poor. That's very true.
Absolutely.
Now, is this all karmic, one wonders? Because is Mother Earth, there's a cleansing going on?
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely a warning there about what's to come. If you think what's going to happen, it doesn't take a psychic to tell us that the environment is going to get really, really bad. I mean, Finland there, the lady from Finland they've got a heat wave in Finland, hotter than they've ever had. In America and Canada, they got temperatures that are almost Palm Springs. They're talking about almost, anybody ever live there?
Didn't Edgar Cayce, didn't he predict all this?
He did. He saw much of this, and I think it's absolutely bang on that I actually don't think we're ever going to get climate control completely under control. We're not going to get it sorted out because it's going to keep heating up. What we've got to try to do is do our best to manage it. And I think in the end, science might step in. And like I say, if you have another form of energy, another form of creating energy, something like cold fission or something, I think we can get it back into balance again.
Very interesting, isn't it? What Ireland said. The most undiscovered part of the Earth are the deep oceans. Do you think that the oceans will be explored and built underwater cities? I'm sure that will come in the future.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think the ocean, like you say, we know more about this, the the surface of the moon and Mars than we do about the ocean floor, because there's huge sections there.
Well, there's
deep down
there's
abysses.
plants, I'm sure, down at the depths, and there's creatures man hasn't discovered, and there'll be lots of useful things to keep
and
the
there's
earth going.
incredibly, there's life down there,
Oh,
right down
absolutely.
under huge pressures. So I think, but the oceans are perhaps one of the most important things we need to look after too. I mean, I'm very pleased. I made some predictions about this before, about saying that they'd have ocean parks, as it were. And Britain's been pretty good in leading the way with a lot of that. And we have to leave areas alone. We have to have wild, has to be wild. Nobody fishes in it. And the same, we need areas of land like the Amazon jungle. We just must leave it alone and let nature help us. But we keep chopping it all down, and we keep chucking God knows what pollution
lockdown,
into the
our
sea.
nature came back when it was pure lockdown and everybody couldn't go to work or do anything. We saw all wonderful things happening, didn't we, with nature, the birds.
But the problem is, once we damage it forever. The Japanese, you know, are thinking about releasing all that water from the coolants of the power station, that nuclear power station that blew up. They're thinking of dropping all that into the sea because they don't know what to do with it. They got all this one. They want to release it into the sea, and we'll be taking that in for the fish we eat.
That's wrong, isn't it? Like mercury.
Yeah. So all of it. I mean, you know, in the end of the day, we're the guys that suffer. All of us do.
Well, we've got to think of the children of the future.
I think people do genuinely want to think globally. The only way we're going to solve all this is if we think about humanity as a whole, and not nationalism, and not limited politics and things. We've got to work collectively for these things. I mean, it's just plain common sense. Otherwise, we'll all be finished. Do you think there are lots more COVID-like viruses coming in the future because of the increase in global population?
I think we are going to have more viruses, and it's something we all got to be aware of and live with for a while until things are sorted out.
I think absolutely, because we're all living in cities, and because of that, it's so much easier to spread viruses. And I think we were absolutely lucky with the COVID, really, because what if that was the plague? When it hit each country, the plague hit, knocked out at least a third of the population. So, like places like England and Great Britain and that, would a third of the population killed. France, a third of the population killed. Germany, a third of the population. You know, that was a dreadful illness. Now, what if COVID had the same consequences? What if it knocked a third? What if it knocked a half of the population?
Yes, that's true.
You know, could we have kept everything going? Could we have kept economies going? Could we have kept the lights on? And there's so many others, because there's other biological things that could as well. You know, I mean, that was a virus, but there's all sorts of plague type illnesses that could hit us all. But I right from the start, that was an unnatural virus, because that virus came out of a Chinese lab. There's no doubt about the fact that came out of a Chinese
germ
lab.
warfare, wasn't it?
It was planned. It was experimenting for things like that. The Nardi said we wouldn't get to the bottom of it. I can't remember what date it said, but quite a long way ahead before we get to the bottom of that. But it was fascinating that in the Nardi it actually did say that, didn't it? That there would be that, and that would be talk of germ warfare. So Nicola Avocado saying, have you ever had visions or meditations about just how hot the Earth will get? It will eventually stabilize, but at what temperature? Just how hot will places get? Will they be survivable?
Well, I do believe in time we're all going to go back to the Ice Age.
You're seeing an Ice Age, but I'm seeing a hot age, because I think...
No, you have... The hot age will melt, won't it? So we'll go back to the Ice Age.
Quite often
nature's got to have a balance.
We will obviously in time get another Ice Age, because over millions of years these things happen again. I mean, we assume we're very lucky, actually. The period we're in at the moment is a very stable period of Earth's climate. I mean, it wasn't that long ago we had an Ice Age.
There'll be hot springs definitely coming from the Earth. Hot springs, definitely. And there'll be lots of things that people once again are having to live with all this and adjust their lifestyle.
I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see temperatures get to the point that places like California, for example,
Fires.
might be almost uninhabitable, and the
Fires.
spread of the deserts. And that's why I think we'll find a new solution to this. We'll have to. I think we'll find some technological solutions to it. But temperatures could get to the point where the whole middle of Africa is uninhabitable. The whole other areas of that's prone to deserts will just get worse. And look at the price we're paying already. I mean, how much money has it cost Europe with all the destruction from that one simple rainfall, 1 day or 2 days of rain? That same money, if we put it into stopping all this terrible pollution and wastage, and I mean, look how much Amazon deliver. When every time you get the simple thing from Amazon, it's loaded in cardboard, it's loaded in plastic, it's loaded in padding, great big box for tiny little things sometimes, wastefulness. And that's all resources, that's all trees, that's all plastics, that's all waste. The companies are a lot to blame with this. They don't give a damn, and they need regulation. And I think you should say something because I'm going on and on.
Well, you can answer that. Well, I just see drones and deliveries, and drones putting fires out worldwide.
Yeah, drones would be a good way.
They're going to put fires out worldwide. I saw drones, lots of drones.
That would be that's an interesting
and drones rescuing people in mountains and things. And actually, there'll be bigger and really, really big drones that can actually transport people to places
I
for
suppose we'll
surgery.
have to have a lot of technological.
There will be
ways of dealing with it, because John's asking there, do you think it's too late to reverse climate change? I actually think it is too late. I think we've gone past the point of no return now. And now it's going to be management. Now we've got to somehow try to reverse it in different ways. And that may take technological solutions, and more disasters and the population will occur more frequently. And yeah, I mean, I think the worst of it all is going to be the hurricane winds, hurricanes and typhoons, because I think we're going to see such levels of wind that it's going to be destructive. If it starts tearing down not just buildings, but high-rise buildings, or it starts ripping out factories. I mean, this will be in China because they get their typhoons there, and hurricanes on the American coast. I think those are going to get worse and worse and worse. So it gets to the point that you cannot stand up against a wind like that.
And the air will be polluted, Craig, very badly.
Yeah, and in my last predictions, I saw deluges in China, and those deluges are going to be so bad. I even predicted in one of my videos recently that I felt the Three Gorges Dam is going to go. It might not go completely, but I see it under major threat.
We're already getting higher sea levels and corrosion happening in hills and things, aren't we?
And it's not just summer, is it? It's winter.
No, yeah.
All the seasons have gone into such an extreme level.
They don't know where they are, even the plants or the animal kingdom.
So, I mean, I suppose our theme is population, but I mean, it's population that's to where there's too many of us. Well, actually, there's not too many of us, because the Earth could sustain this number of people quite easily and more. It's just bad management. It's greed. It's a few people wanting all the money, all the power. And I think it's appalling that any person anywhere in the world could starve. That sounds like Boo coming through, something going over there.
Obviously, don't bring a rat in.
Yeah. Hello,
Hi,
Boo.
Boo.
Come and say hello to everybody. Boo.
No, don't know what to do with these.
No,
Boo,
he just looks at us.
Sweetie.
He might.
Come
You should have brought some
dreamies. See your
dreamies.
mum.
Yeah, so
on,
isn't it bad that this
on,
it seems to be the one
Boo.
perennial thing that always seems to be the case, is that people will always be greedy. They will always put themselves first. We've got to think collectively, and we've got to think sensibly with this too. What do you see for India's future in the coming years, since we are overpopulated, as you know?
I think India is going to grow very rich.
I think India is going to, and I've said this myself, I think India is going to be the light of the world, because I think something's going to happen in India. Something spiritual is going to happen to India, because this is one of the factors that's not been taken into account with this. I mean, some say the population is going to explode. Some say there's not going to be enough because of the old people, and the various models say things will change. I think India's population will stabilize because India is quite a fair country in many ways. I know all the farmers are protesting there and everything like that at the moment, but there's still one of the world's democracies. It's a wonderful example of democracy in many respects. I think Modi has got the country's best interests at heart. I know a lot would strongly disagree with that, but I think he has. And I think India eventually is going to, something very, very, very spiritual is going to happen from India. And it's going to change the world, because the way we think is going to be the way we change things. You know, if look at the incredible things that happen when people get kind of a very powerful religious force in their life. They will build, I do, you don't care about any of this, do you? They will do incredible things without expecting gain, you know. Look what happened when Buddha came into the world. The whole world changed. When Christ came into the world, the whole world model changed. When Krishna came, a whole world model changed in the East then. Something I think will happen, but this time with the international communications we've got, it could be on a scale unprecedented. And I think that will be the salvation of the world. It's not everybody saved and not saved. It's just everybody starts to awaken. And I think there'll be a new sort of values.
Greetings for Boo.
So they all want Boo. Come on, Boo. We're no good. You're the person they want to see. You're far more interesting than we are.
Hi, gorgeous boy.
And you've probably got more suspect than we have too, actually. We all
Everyone's
became a
saying
bit more
hello
like
to
that.
you.
Am I waiting for you to read it, Jane?
Oh, sorry. Nicola, I imagine we will have to see growing food. As Jane mentioned, the plants will be confused with the season changes. What will people be eating? I think a lot of this food is going to be made in laboratories. And that,
in lavatories.
Yours might be. Mine won't.
Yeah.
No, but they will. They're going to use all these different things. And I don't think it's healthy, because I just feel, you know, with plants and things like that, I mean, we need natural things in our bodies,
I mean,
don't we?
I think there's something very bad with with processed food.
Oh, it is.
I mean, it was 1930s, the processed food market started. 1930s, cancer pretty much started. I mean, they had cancer before that, but not as prevalent.
Come here, baby.
So I think that the whole food industry has caused many of the ills in the world.
Yeah.
Danielle said, "Hello, Boo." Boo.
Boo.
Yeah.
Hi, Boo.
That's our daughter, Danielle. So yeah, I think processed foods is a dangerous thing, because one of the things about it is, when you look at food, it also has life force in it.
Yes.
So if you eat a living thing that has what we call this sattvic energy, like a freshly picked fruit of some sort, is full not just of goodness in terms of its vitamins and things like that, but it has this life force, this prana, this energy that sustains us and keeps us fit and keeps our bodies alive. And it's more than just nutrients. But if you eat this other food, this food that's processed, and to the extent there's no life force left in it, you're eating what's called tamasic food, that's heavy, that creates negative energy in the body.
We eat healthy though, don't we?
Well, we try to. Yeah, I had a McDonald's last night.
No, we didn't.
You had fish and chips today.
No, I didn't have fish and chips, Craig.
No, we do. We try to eat healthy, and I try to.
Herbs
I eat some meat, but not too much. I think that's probably the safest way for your health as well, and also for the energy levels of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Deb says maybe it'll be a pill breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I expect that will be so in the future. It might even be that we'll put our fingers on a special thing on the wall, and it feeds us intravenously without us knowing it.
Yeah,
there'll be all kinds of things happen. But I think
I don't think it will come to that, actually.
it will, Craig.
I don't think it will be necessary, because I think the planet can sustain even this big population. But what we need to do is we need to turn deserts into wheat fields. I mean, the whole of Sahara used to be not that far back in the history of the world.
Well, because
that was a great savanna
salt mines exist now.
Yeah.
Water by salt. We need salt, don't we?
Yeah, but I'm talking about feeding people. I can't feed them on salt. So, but we could make the deserts bloom again. They did bloom. They were vast prairies there, and even before that, they were areas of lakes and wetlands. So why can't we do it again? We got the technology to do it, I think.
I couldn't imagine you, Craig, having a pill for breakfast, lunch, and tea time, you like your food too much.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't know. And I don't think it would do the body any good. And I think we, you know, I think we've got to keep our connection with nature, both in what we eat and in the world around us. You know, we are part of nature. We are not as separate as we like to think ourselves as.
Right, do you want to answer Queenie?
There's a Queenie saying, we will soon learn about UFOs at the moment. We are slowly being conditioned about them. You mean they're breaking it to us slowly? I know they're going to have a load of releases about the UFO
Oh, there are
information soon.
UFOs. We are being observed all the time from other planets and other worlds.
See, now if people were advanced people on another planet, they would have those advanced gifts that we talk about, clairvoyance, and they would think differently to us. They would have telepathy. They might even be able to live one step ahead of themselves. Might be able to see the future all the time, as well as and think all sorts of things that are inconceivable to us.
And they'll probably all be Reese's negative O, Craig.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, what would the people like that be like? You know, we're always thinking of almost like savior sort of gods, aren't we? And would they, the most important thing, would they really be good guys or bad guys? You know,
Why must always people think things are bad?
Well, I think, I mean, when we went to the Americas, we took everything from the American Indians, didn't we? And when we went to Australia, we took everything from the Aborigines. And when Britain traded with India, we stripped the wealth of India.
Planets.
I mean, that tends to be the way of people that want to colonize other places.
So, no, I'm talking about other planets, not talking about.
No, this is what I'm saying. If people came from other planets, I'm sure their intent would not be to help us. Most likely. Chandni is saying, what do you think will happen to the animal species of the planet? This is one for you, Boo. They are such divine sentient beings full of unconditional love who are suffering so much. Will their condition improve in the future? What can we do to improve their condition apart from not killing them or eating them and donating to animal causes or adopting them in the larger picture? How do we tend for the animals of the planet, she says, really?
Yeah, well, animals are important, aren't they? I mean, if you had a cow in front of you, you wouldn't eat it, would you?
No, you'd have a completely different view.
I mean, people go to supermarkets and they see everything as packaging. They don't think about it, do they? Their consciousness is not thinking about it. What am I having for tea? Yeah, that'll go with that and that'll go with this. But if you actually had that animal in front of you and you had to sit it straight, you wouldn't eat it, would you?
Shouldn't it really be? I mean, nature as a whole is the important thing. Because it's not just the animals, it's all of nature. You know, yeah. I mean, nature. I mean, we might wreck the world, and I hate to see them tearing down beautiful old Victorian buildings and putting up rubbish. I keep seeing everywhere happening, and tearing down all those little fine little bits of old barns in the countryside that they strip out and then put a block of all the same looking houses that could be anywhere in the world. All that could be destroyed, but nature always comes back and is always full of beauty, isn't it? You could always replant nature, and it's not just about the animals, it's the whole lot, really, because it's all part of what we yearn for.
Well, I do believe that trees have nature's spirits, and when you see people cut them down, I call it tree rape, because that's destroying nature, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the whole of nature is an energy, and we kind of cut ourselves off from that. I mean, we go for a walk in the woods, but we're not connected in the same way that somebody like the Aborigines would be for when they go on dream time, where they're walking in connection with the energy of the land, and they're totally aware of the whole vibration of everything. Or what our ancient ancestors must have been like when they wandered, you know, the huge landscapes of the world, hunting, gathering. I mean, we've lost all that, and yet, you know, that was the vast part of our history. You know, so I think it's the whole thing for the animals and our understanding of being able to reconnect with them and seeing them as spirits like ourselves.
Says, if people stop having children and only want to reduce population growth, what's that meant for the spirit world? There's less souls to learn lessons than now. Well, the spirit world's vast, isn't it? Like the universe.
Yeah, and I think with the spirit world, I think, you know, this is going back to the animal question
Yeah.
again, really, because many people that incarnate of humans, it's their first human birth. Previous births may have been in the animals. I mean, I'm sure Boo won't come back as a cat. He'd come back as some very human of some sort. No, he'd probably take a human form because he started to understand human consciousness. And it wouldn't surprise me that, you know, it makes no difference, because one of the arguments they say about reincarnation is that there's more people alive on the earth today than the whole history of mankind. So there's more people alive than there have been humans since the beginning, you know. Just like I said, you know, since the Industrial Revolution, the graph has shot huge about the number of people, where it was just sustained at the maximum of 1 billion
people are
before.
living more healthy lifestyles, more aware of their bodies and consciousness, aren't they?
So the thing is, what I was saying, just to conclude that, is that the you know, we have to have come. There's not enough humans to go round to reincarnate, for example. Not enough humans to fill the spirit world if there's already people in the spirit world as well. We must be coming up through different threads. We must be coming up through the animal kingdom, maybe other life forms in other planets. You know, maybe all of this consciousness of being born human, maybe we've not just been human in previous lives, we may have been animals in previous lives, or we may have, all of us, some of us even come from other planets in previous lives.
I do know monkeys are very attractive.
I thought you were going to say that. Yeah. So that probably would answer the question about animals. We are animals, and animals are spirits, and you know, they got as much a right to the path of consciousness as anyone else.
Well, they bring unconditional love, don't they?
So yeah, so big questions on that. Now, do trees have souls, says Nana? I think they do.
Well, I think it's important how you cut a rose. I'm sure that they all feel pain and things.
I don't think it feels pain. Because
no, a rose. Listen, Craig. Listen to your wife. A rose is beautiful, but it can also hurt you. So you have to take the thorns out. Think about it.
Yeah, well, as a symbol, a rose is both beautiful and painful. That's like life and existence itself, really. But I do think trees have souls, and I think groups of trees have souls, and there's a certain amount of kind of evidence of it, I suppose. But when you go to I was thinking, particularly silver birch, it seems to me, when you go to a forest and there's a group of particular type of trees, like say a whole load of silver birch in a forest, I'm sure all that species of trees is resonating with one another. You know, I can feel it sometimes.
You can feel the energy.
It's not like they're talking like we would talk about talking, but it's like they're resonating with one another. One tree knows the other tree.
There are trees that actually can move and got like trunks that I've read about that actually move in harmony with each other.
Okay.
No, there is. There is. They've got long trunks. It's true. I'm not saying they're walking by themselves through the forest.
I think what you're probably talking about is a bit like mushrooms have a mycelium.
No, I'm not talking about myceliums. That's connected to consciousness.
But the trees have a similar connection under the ground, where they actually root connected through a sort of mycelium.
The planet needs myceliums.
Yeah.
But I like oak trees. If you see a really big oak tree, you think how many hundreds of years that oak tree's been there and what it's seen.
I always think the trees stand like a witness, don't they? I mean, the trees we see going down, those ones that have been torn down, they were there way before the times of the houses were built. Yes. They were there back when Henry VIII was here, and before that, you know. Yeah. I mean, they're witness. You know, we come and go, but the trees are there forever. Oh, a long time.
Do you want to answer that?
From the 10 billion, some are incarnated, some not. Sort of second, some of the people on Earth are incarnated and some aren't. So I think she's saying, it's going back to that question about, you know, where does everybody go? Does everybody reincarnate?
Depends on your
karma. How many souls are there?
It depends on your karma, of course.
And how many people were on this planet? There's certainly not enough to go around for so many people to have past life memories, for example, of say the medieval times, because, you know, how many billion do we say? 10.9 billion people. I mean, and then there was only the total number of people on the earth. Most of the time, it was about 1 million people in the earlier days. So, you know, that's a big difference. 1 million to 10 billion. There's not enough souls to go around. Is part of the thought there.
Right. Stefan says, Edgar Cayce said that both plants and animals have souls, but those souls do not cross over to humans.
Yeah, he said that, but I don't think he's necessarily right with that. Because I can't see how it could possibly be sustained any other way. The Greeks called it metempsychosis. I think that was the right word for it. And they believed that, talked about this idea that people evolve through the animal kingdom to eventually become human.
The Chinese believe that humans can go back as animals.
Yeah, and it's certainly in Indian thought, and some of the threads in Indian thought that we can be animals. We were previously animals that incarnated to become humans. I mean, why not? Well, I mean, we're human now, but I mean, doesn't mean we're still animals. We're just evolved monkeys, aren't we? Really,
yeah, apes.
So the soul's the same. The soul is perhaps evolving. That's what I like to think of it as, that consciousness evolves, the soul evolves. It's not something that's static. And maybe the ultimate goal is for us to become sort of super beings, gods, as it were, totally enlightened
That's
beings,
a nice one.
not dependent on the earth.
As an empath, everything has some kind of soul-like energy. Even as we create, we share our souls with other things. That's nice.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
I mean,
beautiful.
what
nice.
Deb's saying there is it kind of rubs off, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's nice.
That's why I always think it's always very important to mix with the right sort of people, because
be with the right
it rubs
people.
off on you,
Yes.
And if you're around a load of negative people, it rubs off and it corrupts you. So we are kind of sharing our energy. And similarly, we also have to work on our own energy too, to make sure that we're not completely susceptible to other people's energy all the time, because then we become weakened by whatever we only become what's near us, don't we? We get weakened by it or strengthened by it. We also have to be self-sustaining. If you just tell me his name there, Jane, first of all.
I would try. Can we reincarnate back to past times? No, I think that I feel it's lessons here. You can't never go back. You've got to go forward.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thought. I don't think we do go back. I mean, there's all sorts of other questions that could be thrown up by this. Some people say that if there's a multiverse, maybe there's multiple versions of this very room now that we're talking in, and an infinite number, and we could even be incarnating into different multiverses all the time. I mean, who knows how the universe works? I mean, these mind-boggling ideas. And also some say that we don't incarnate at all, but we just keep going back to the start again and reliving our life like Groundhog Day until we get it right. So that was an idea that Nietzsche put forward, and Gurdjieff was very interested in this, and Ouspensky, that this is that we relive the same things over and over. I mean, it's hard, isn't it, really? Because you can theorize about these things, but is it the truth? We can come up with all sorts of theories, and like Niccolo Avocado was saying the other week about how can we prove that reincarnation's true? Because again, we are in the realm of philosophy rather than proving it. So again, I think the universe is so mind-boggling that anything we come up with can't come even close to the truth. But it's kind of, I think, reassuring that definitely something does go on, that this material world is just a pale reflection of the true reality.
Well, life is a miracle, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's last questions now coming up, guys. God, that time's going quick tonight. And don't forget, if you're enjoying this channel, please share it. Share it on Facebook, so your friends can come and join us. And if your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, because then you'll get that. You click the little bell when you click the subscribe thing in the corner, and you'll get updates when we go live. And if you really, really like the show and you really want to support us, obviously become a patron. I always hammer this message home, but those of you that are patrons, like Niccolo Avocado there, he's become a Helios patron, and the Helios patrons we mention every time because they are people that are giving a substantial amount to help the channel. And so is his boyfriend there. I've forgotten his name now.
Orion.
Orion, yeah. wonderful. Couple of wonderful Helios patrons there who are helping us on a high level, and lots of you out there also helping us on a small level with just $3 a month, which is nothing, is it? But it helps this channel to move forward, and it's going to help us to do a lot more things when we've got into our studio, which we now have, and in time you'll be seeing us transmitting from there. So want to support us, it really goes a long way. It's a beautiful day out there. We could have gone down the pub, we could have gone down to the seashore, we could have done something. No, but we're here for you guys because we enjoy this like you do. So if you help us, it helps us a tremendous amount, and it helps us also with our charitable work. And you can get my books. He's put the message up about my books. You can get my books from psychics.co.uk, our website. If you've not seen our website yet, go and have a look because there's lots going on there too. And you might be inspired to read a little bit more about our lives. For example, there's books about autobiographical type books, and books about how to develop your abilities, books about dreams. I've written a lot of books. So go and have a look and maybe even use one of the services there, like our readers and ourselves. And I'm not going to read any more of these messages. I've already said all that. I've said all this. I've told you all about it. And then you want to also, we will be looking for some of you who can join us actually, because we're going to have a new set soon. It's going to look great, and we want some guests. So those want to become guests, just get in touch. And we're going to be transmitting from Winchester, so you can get to Winchester on a Friday evening for 7 o'clock. We might be able to have you on as a guest. And I'm sure that would be exciting too. So last questions now, I think, if there's any left. Nope, there's none left. Nope, he's frantically having a look through now to find an interesting question for us. But yeah, and of course Domenico's in the background all the time helping us, you see.
He's a great help.
Putting up all these messages, all giving their time for free, all just making sure this all works. So Chaos is saying, in the future, will we be living underground?
All things will be possible in the future. At the moment, it's not possible.
I think we're up to a point we will. I mean, H.G. Wells in his book The Time Machine, fantastic book. I was so inspiring a book, particularly when not the TV versions of it or the film versions of it. The book was wonderful, really wonderful story. And in that story, half the population lived underground and became sort of like almost demonic creatures.
I don't think
half lived above ground, which became childlike.
It won't be in the core of the earth, though, Craig.
I don't think we would live underground like you're talking. Maybe on other planets we would have to do that if we were on Mars or we're on
Pluto.
Not Pluto. No, I think it'd be a job to get on the moon and so forth. We might need to do things like that. I don't think we would on Earth because I think we need light, because natural light is also one of those things that sustains our prana. And as we evolve spiritually, because mankind is not going to be all material and spaceships and things. The great steps for mankind, or humankind I should say, is our development of our consciousness. That's what we're here for. This body is designed as a vehicle to expand consciousness. That's what it's for.
And love, Craig.
And consciousness and love are all connected. And so that is what the evolution of humankind is. The evolution of consciousness. All the material stuff is actually very secondary. This is the age of science in which those things are useful, but they are only a stepping stone to something much greater. And I think we would even be possible to exist in much higher forms of finer consciousness that might not even require bodies, and still be part of this material world. I'm not just saying a spirit, but some other form of evolution. That's what when people say about people visiting from other planets, I have to think to myself, what would those people be like? Would they still have a physical form? Would they be able to manifest, for example? Would they be able to materialize? Would they be conscious to the extent that they're omnipresent, like the great gurus are? I mean, that's when I think about those sort of beings. I have to think differently. I have to think it's not just glorified versions of what we know now, but something far beyond our imagination. So I don't think we will live underground. Do you?
Okay, Moonchild, if you say so.
You going to read some, Jane?
Oh, I have to put my glasses
I'll read it if you like. Annabelle saying, always one can go into the cosmic origin. So from there, we see evolution and all diversity. Do you want to answer that one?
No, I let you. You're doing so well, so well.
I don't know what she means by the cosmic
It's a
origin, but I
he.
suppose,
It's a
or he
he.
said by the cosmic origin, but I suppose you mean the source of things, don't you? You mean like the light about the core.
Oh, that's nice.
Niccolo Avocado share you in his channel, so I found you through him.
Oh, bless
yeah,
him.
and he, like I was saying, Niccolo Avocado, really thank you very much for you.
Yeah, and we're his grandparents.
Yeah, he told us
his
we were going to
grandparents.
ban you, because you said you were just like the grandparents I never had.
We're the grandparents.
Parents I could have accepted, but grandparents.
Yeah. Surrogate grandparents. I don't mind being a surrogate mother.
Thanks for sharing this, Nick. Okay, that's really good of you. And I mean, you guys that are coming here, you're finding that he's actually a very spiritual person, and you would never have thought so from his channel, but he is, and that's
John now.
He's a lovely bloke. John here saying, seems like your new set is coming along nicely.
You're talking about the Winchester
studio.
it's
looking good. It's starting, isn't it, John?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're a patron and you've been helping us out a lot, and that's appreciated. And you put some nice reviews up, I noticed, on Amazon with my books as well. But it's coming on. It's getting there. We're gonna be there soon with it.
You gonna read that one?
You both are a pleasure to listen to. Very wise.
Thank you.
Do you really think so?
I think I am. I can't talk for him.
Andrew saying good night. Keep safe and well from Cheshire Lee Street.
Oh, thank you.
Chester Lee Street near Durham. I wish your books were on Audible. Yeah, I know. I want to do them, but that's such a lot of work.
Time for everything,
trying to do it all, and I cough too much when I try to read. So I might be able to get it together eventually.
Oh, Ireland, thank you, Ireland.
I like those Audible books. They're good. I subscribe to Audible. It's an easy way of reading, just listening to them. Because I'd have to do it myself, wouldn't I? Not get someone else to do it. I could get someone else to do it.
There'd not be another one like you, Craig. So
yeah, but you have to split it 50-50 with them if you do.
You?
Yeah, so you lose half your work. So I think
that's not on, is it?
I could speak it. Thank you, Craig and Jane. Another wonderful live.
Thank you, Ireland.
That's the whole of Ireland. Obviously said that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the population of Ireland is, but it must be pretty big.
God.
Karina saying, Craig and Jane, you do a fantastic work. It's a joy to follow you and participate every Friday evening. Love it. Good.
Thank
you. I
you.
noticed you don't put up any negative ones. I bet there's people there saying, Craig, you look a bloody idiot tonight. I wish I'd never found this channel. I wish you'd just go away. But no, they say good things to us.
I'm sure they
and don't forget, it's every Friday if you're here for the first time. Fridays at 7. We might have to change our time sometime in the future.
Ireland says maybe you reach for the stars. Maybe.
And hit the moon.
Yeah.
Thank you both. Have a nice weekend.
And you too.
Thank you.
We're going to all have a nice weekend.
I think it's going to be nice and hot.
Oh.
Okay, not grandparents, spiritual parents. How about that?
I like that
sounds
one.
Pretty good.
It's very good. Yes.
We'll buy you lunch for that.
Yeah. You come over to London and we'll meet up with you.
Vic is saying you must visit Shirdi in India. I'd love to, actually. You would love it. I'm sure I would. I'd love to. Another place of fantastic energy. My nadis have told me I've got to go to the 5 element temples of Shiva yet. So I'm gonna have to go and do that sometime, Jane. I'll pop in there. Yeah, is that all right?
As long as you bring me enough sari back.
India's a bit hard to travel at the moment, of course. So I'd be a bit worried going there at the moment. Tough. It's still tough there in India for people. Really is. Deb saying, night guys, put on some music, have a nice slow dance together. Guys, blessings.
He's a lousy dancer.
I am not a dancer.
No.
I am not a great dancer. I don't, well.
But actually, we're going to go down by the sea in a minute.
Yeah, I think we can go down to Hamburg, shall we? And have and sit by the sea. Thank you, Craig and Jane. I'm watching you from Argentina. You guys are fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
It's a strange thought, isn't it? People there sat in Argentina enjoying this.
Oh, it's good.
Have a great weekend, Rhonda says. Yes, and you guys.
Too.
So, and always keep coming, don't they? Thank you. Interesting chat. Have a lovely weekend.
And you.
So, it's always quite fun saying the goodbyes because it's all a bit of a banter, isn't it? Thank you, Greg and Jay says, ching, ching, chin.
Thank you.
And Sheila's saying, Sheila from India, thank you, Craig and Jane, sparkling boo. Yeah, I don't know where he's gone.
He's cleared off,
hasn't he? He's flopping around, absolutely baking at the
fan
moment,
on
isn't he? Namaste.
Namaste.
Great show as always, says Nana Rosebud.
Oh, she's lovely.
And cool, we've got an awful lot coming up. We're here all night. We could have a hello goodbye show. We just do hellos and then we do the goodbyes. Yeah,
Laurie.
Yeah, Laurie said no, nothing negative. You're both looking good and enjoying the chat.
Thank you.
Good. I'd be tempted to go on there and be saying rude things about me.
Well, you're not.
Craig and Jane, thank you both for a very interesting evening. Nice weekend.
Nice weekend.
So don't forget to tell all your friends, because it's nice to get as many of you as possible on these channels. And it's always nice for all of you. And thank you all for those of you that come regularly. So we're going to say goodbye to you all. Goodbye now. See you soon.
Love from the heart.
Bye for now.
Would you like to know more about the paranormal world? Craig Hamilton Parker's books are now available on Amazon. Explore the future. Discover what happens after death. Unlock the secrets of your dreams. Learn to develop your own psychic skills.